The Quran repeatedly mentions something called al-Bahrain, the two bodies of water. What are these two waters? Many people think these verses refer to rivers meeting the ocean where fresh water and salt water mix. But the Quran mentions these two waters 5 different times, and the description seems to change. Could these verses actually describe major stages in the history of life? Let us begin at the beginning. Life first appeared in the ancient oceans almost 3.8 billion years ago. Those oceans were harsh and extremely salty. For the first cells to survive, they needed a protective boundary. They had to keep the life-supporting material inside the cell separate from the dangerous environment outside. In Surah An-Naml, the Quran says, وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ حَاجِزًا, and He placed a barrier between the two bodies of water. The Arabic word here is hajiz, meaning a barrier. In biology, one of the most important events in the history of life was the appearance of the first cell membrane. This thin phospholipid membrane surrounded the earliest cells. It separated the inside from the outside. Without this barrier, life could not exist. Millions of years later, another major advance occurred. More complex cells appeared. Scientists call these cells eukaryotes. Unlike the earlier cells, these new cells developed internal compartments. Most importantly, they surrounded their DNA with a protective membrane. In Surah Al-Furqan, the Quran again speaks about the two waters, but this time it says that God placed a barrier and an insurmountable partition. Barzakhun wa hijran mahjura. Why mention an additional partition? Inside eukaryotic cells, the DNA is protected by a nuclear envelope. This envelope is not a single membrane. It is actually made of 2 membranes. In other words, it is a double barrier. When it comes to controlling the movement of salt ions and other substances, it acts as an insurmountable partition. The verse also says that these waters still have freedom of movement. This is interesting because cell membranes are not completely sealed. Special channels called aquaporins allow water molecules to pass through while blocking many other substances, including salt. Water moves freely, the barrier remains intact.